Well, you know me, I'm a little off. I just really, really like outhouses. I don't get it. Maybe I'm weird. I don't know. But I was out shopping for some property. Not really shopping, just window shopping, looking at stuff. I'd see a for sale sign off down the road, and I'd go down there and check it out. Take a look at what I found. We got ourselves an outhouse. That's right. Check it out. This one's seen its better days. Look at our roof on this thing. It's just planks. I don't know that I'd go in there though. Look at that floor. It's about to cave in. It's fixing to cave in. That's right. One thing about building something, you got to think about use of materials and not, using more than you need to, simply because it jacks up the cost of the project when you waste materials or you do things that don't effectively use each piece to the full. And so with the two sides of the outhouse, let me show you here. We have one side that's 5 feet tall and one side that's 6 feet tall, and then this thing is 7 feet tall. So, not 7, it's 11 feet tall. So, if I cut 3 feet off of here, then that leaves me with the 3-foot piece I need to do here. See how that works? If I don't, if I were to make this like 11.5 feet tall, well then we'd have a problem, wouldn't we? But I'm making it 11 feet tall so that I can use that piece there and not have to buy a whole nother sheet. So that's what we're up to now. Okay, now to make the front of the outhouse, most buildings you'll build a frame and then you'll attach the sheeting to the frame, and that's how they go up. That's pretty normal, that's standard. But I'm trying a little different approach this time. This is kind of like an eggshell approach. It's where everything is part of the structure, even the skin. And I'm going to start with the skin and then flesh it out on the inside, and that's I don't know. I'm sure there's a term for that, but I'm calling it the eggshell approach. What I've done here is I've laid 2 sheets of OSB T111 siding next to each other, and then that 3-foot piece that I cut off is up there. And I am going to draw here on this the shape. I've got the center right here. I'm going to come out half the width, so 2.5 feet each direction, and then I'm going to go up at an angle with a 6-foot wall, and I'm going to go up the angle this way with a 5-foot wall. And then I'm going to, out there at the peak, right out there at the peak, I'm going to draw in my roof. So I've got to attach these all together so that they don't move on me, and then go from there and see what we can come up with. Okay, you can probably see the line here where I've got the outside wall angling out up to that screw right there where that plastic conduit is, and then that plastic conduit goes up to the point. Now, if you look at my little outhouse, you'll see that there's a little bit of a recurve. Now, that's stylish. That looks nice. But there's more to it than that. Then you've got all sorts of physical properties that kick in and help you with the physics. But making curved lines can be a challenge. So what I did, and what I did on the original one, was basically, the scale of the fascia board you see there is a 2x4, and it's curved about 3.5 inches off of its course, so that in the middle. So what I did here is I drew a straight line from this screw right here. You can see the straight line there up to there. And then in the middle, I came over to give myself that distance, that off of 3.5 inches. So that way, when I take these 1x8s here that I've been using for straight edges, I can cut that whole fascia board all out of one piece. That's the plan anyway. The reason I use this piece of electrical conduit to bend is because the plastic bends uniformly. And I could have spent $20, $30, $40 on a 10-foot straight edge to make this work. However, at $1 and change for a 10-foot stick of plastic conduit, and it does the job, I figured why not. So you can see I've got the same thing done over here. Now I can't just copy these because this side over here is shorter than this side over here, because this wall here going down that line there is 5 foot tall, and that one over here is 6 foot tall, and that makes the distance at 11 feet up there different. I hope that's making sense. But at any rate, that's how that works. So now I've got to trace all this out and then set it up on the sawhorses and cut it out. I'm telling you right now, I'm really concerned about the hereafter. That's right. I go into the room to get something and I go, what was that hereafter?